Welcome to Secrets for an Inspirational Life with Mimi Novic, the place where every heart tells its story. Whether it's inspiration, courage or hope you need, you've come to the right place. Sit back and enjoy the journey with us. Subscribe below to be sure you don't miss future episodes.
Hello everyone and welcome to another episode of Secrets for an Inspirational Life. How are you all? I hope that you are finding moments to be with the people that you like, that you love, that you feel comfortable with. And I hope that you are truly being yourselves. Now, what does that actually mean? You know, you hear that so much these days. Just be yourself. Just be yourself. And sometimes we don't remember how to do that. And that is one, I think, of the most fundamental secrets to life is to accept ourselves in all our magnificent woes and sadnesses and joys and happinesses, which is not even a word, but you know where I'm coming from. And it's something that comes from within. We all have that miraculous power of our life, of our soul, and it holds the secret to every single meeting that we have, to every single thing that we do. We should not be afraid. Not at all. We spend so many moments in our life being afraid, but really what we should be doing is living. Now, I am absolutely delighted to welcome back today's guest, who is a very special guest. And that is the ever charming and lovely Lord Chalkwell, also known as Nick Payne. Nick is a filmmaker and business visionary and the driving force behind Beau Brummell Productions. Through his company, he creates exceptional video content for high-end events, distinguished Michelin-star restaurants, company podcasts, and interior design brands. Alongside this, he produces specialist food and lifestyle photography, capturing elegance and atmosphere with remarkable attention to detail. Over the years, Nick has worked with celebrity figures, including Sir Brian May of Queen, Joanna Lumley, Sir Tim Rice, and Michael Ball. And that's just to name a few. His portfolio also includes work for London Fashion Week, the TRIC Awards, and the Icon Awards. And he has an absolutely incredible journey to share with us. Welcome, dear Nick.
Hello, Mimi. Lovely to speak to you again. It's been a while. What a lovely introduction. Thank you. I didn't even realise that was me.
Take a bow. Take a bow.
I just did, actually. Oh, amazing. No, it's lovely.
Oh,
It's so lovely to speak to you again. And you've got the most wonderful voice as
oh.
well. And no, it's just great to speak to you again. As I said, it's been a while and lots of things been going on. And yeah, as I said, thank you so much for inviting me on the show again. Much appreciated.
It's
Thank
an
you.
absolute pleasure, Nick, and I am so glad that you're here. And you know that you're very popular with the listeners,
Oh,
and your life story is quite incredible. And you're such an inspirational person. So
thank you.
we had to get you back again
Yeah.
to hear what you've been up to, how has your life been, and really to motivate and inspire people out there.
Right, that's brilliant. No, I've been busy over the last few years. As you said in the introduction, getting involved in different sort of things on the video side, film side, covering some great events, meeting some great people. I'm always looking at different opportunities as well, and getting involved in sort of, as you said, specialist photography, and sort of working with some restaurants, lovely restaurants, producing some lovely food photography. It's just a great time at the moment. I'm really enjoying life and meeting some great people, and it's nothing like meeting people, getting inspired, and hopefully you inspiring other people as well, which is great.
Mm.
It's I love living in Leigh-on-Sea where I live. It's a great place to live as well, and it's great for inspiration. Today was a great day. I actually get some time to go out for a walk up the top of the hill, and the sun was beating down, and it was fantastic, really. I feel very, very lucky, Mimi, very, very lucky. I have a good life,
Yes.
a good people around me. Yeah, so but also, as I said, I love meeting new people. I love the people that I know.
Mm.
I've got great friends, but I love meeting up with new people because you never know what's going on. And as I said, it's great to hear other people's stories and what they're doing, and and also every time you meet somebody there's an opportunity, and it's not just about a business opportunity. It's about what maybe what you do with your life going forward, and somebody comes up with an inspirational thing that they're doing. And last night I work with a charity in Southend called
Hmm.
Prostate. It's a men's prostate charity, and
Uh-huh.
they needed people to collect money for the charity. And I got a friend of mine, actually an old school friend of mine, and we went along, and it was really funny because we had to collect money on a phone app, and I'd never done that before. I know it sounds simple, but I was dreading it, thinking I'm going to mess it up. But that's all about, the fear thing and thinking, oh, I can't do that. But it was great, and we raised quite a lot of money last night, and Paul Sayer, the CEO of Prostate, he's such a nice
Hmm.
guy as well, and he does such great work for men with prostate cancer for non-invasive surgery, because prostate cancer can cause so many disruptions to men's lives,
Hmm.
and as you know, one in eight men, one in eight white men, it's one in four with black men get prostate cancer. So it's a massive thing, and as I said, but it was great to do it last night because I was, as I said, standing there. You think to yourself, whatever. But it was just a great evening, and as I said, to do things like that is just. I was really, I was sort of pleased with myself, because
Well done. Yes.
yeah, never done that before. But as I said, so that's just one thing that's happened this week. But
Hmm.
yeah, so yeah, life is good. Life is good at the moment.
It's a funny old thing when you push yourself beyond your limits, you never
Mm.
quite know um, what you can achieve.
Mm.
And I love, there's something that I love about you is that you're always willing to meet new people for
Yeah.
new opportunities. And that's something I think there are still people like yourself out there who would love to do that. I'm one of those people. But I
Right.
think now a lot of people are very cautious
Mm.
of everybody. And that's such a pity, isn't it? Because when I look at somebody like yourself, I think, I wonder what this person's going to bring to my life.
Mm.
Because I always believe there's a reason that we meet people. But these days, people are so cautious and afraid of people. And yes, I understand there's a lot of reason to be cautious, but actually, there's a lot of reason to be fantastically open, isn't there?
Mm. Yeah, well, the thing is, I think obviously with the internet and online, like we're having a conversation now, but
Mm.
there's a lot of that goes on, and obviously, since COVID, and then and online calls, Zoom calls, and so on, you don't really get to know that person so well. You can sort of talk to somebody. I don't know about you, but you talk to somebody online sometimes, and you never really get to know that person. And although obviously you can't always meet up physically face to face with people, I find it's a really good thing if you can get that opportunity, because you get to know that person, I think, a lot better. And that's why I sort of like to attend like physical events rather than doing online events, because, or, meetings, because as I said, you get to know people. You can sort of, people give off a vibe, a physical vibe when you're with people,
Yeah.
and you get to know that person a lot better. That's what I find anyway, and you get a lot out. And I've sort of got this. I don't know. I'm not talented at lots of things. I don't want to sound humble, but what I am good at. People do tend to sort of tell me I should have been a hairdresser, really, because people tell me lots of things.
Yeah.
I get a lot of secrets. Not say secrets, but a lot of information. Not that I'm digging, but I think people feel generally sort of like easy with me and calm with me, um, and able to sort of tell me, what they think, and it's really good. And as I said, that's really where sort of my success has been, sort of getting to know people on a one-to-one basis and gaining their trust. And that's what it's for me. That's what it's about.
And I think that you talk about energy, and I think that's a really important thing because
Yeah.
we sometimes don't know why we like people and why we dislike people, but it
Mm,
is absolutely an energetic exchange. And I think one of the reasons that people do like to talk to you and reveal, sort of their secrets and their thoughts is that you genuinely give off that vibe that
mm,
you're interested in somebody. And
yeah.
that's a very rare quality as well, because people these days don't have the time, don't have the capacity in the sense of they could do, but they're thinking about something 10th,
Mm,
11th, 12th, 13th, and they just haven't got that, I suppose, the strength in many ways to sit there and to listen to somebody else. And that's something that you have. And especially with your story and everything that you've been through in your life,
mm.
I think that's why people feel so comfortable with you.
Yeah, well, thank you. Well, as I said, it's just something. As I said, I think all of us have got talents or a talent in particular. As I said, and I guess mine was communication. And I think I feel sorry for a lot of people, particularly younger people, where they've not been in that environment and where they're sort of, they used to work, they've been used to working online, and there seems to sort of be, it's not their fault, but there seems to be a lack of social skills, and social skills are so important.
Mm,
And
mm,
I, and I,
mm.
I was sort of, brought up with that. My parents were both, well, my mum in particular, very outgoing. My dad was as well, to a lesser degree, but still a great communicator. And yeah, I just love that vibe. Just as I said, as I said, meeting up with new people and finding out what they're doing. And I am genuinely interested. I had a meeting yesterday, and I had a phone call about an hour after from this person saying what a great meeting it was and what energy that I had, and that he really enjoyed the conversation. And I was really,
Ah, you
uh,
see?
yeah, but honestly, this is true. Was what happened. Yes, and I was a little bit shocked because I think that sometimes you sort of tend to forget what you do and how you do things, and so it's really lovely because normally when people say things, give you feedback, I dare say it's, but some of the time it's negative. It's like when people go for a meal and you get feedback. A lot of the time people won't sort of praise things, but they're easy. They find it easier to complain about things. But as I said, that
Yes.
conversation yesterday was just amazing, and it's really weird because this week in particular, I've been feeling extremely positive. I don't normally do, but this week in particular, I've been feeling extremely positive, and it's really strange, Mimi, because I've had several opportunities this week just come out of the blue almost, and it's almost like because I've been sort of putting a putting a positive vibe out there that it seems to come back to me.
Ah, yes, yes, yes. That's what I wanted to say. I wanted to say, do you believe in this? I mean, I'm a great believer in this, but do you believe in this? It's
Mm.
because what you put out there is what you attract.
But I do believe it. As I said,
Mm,
I think I said on the first time that we met, I had an experience that changed me in terms of I did think it was a person I met, and did make me think that there's definitely something, because the things that happened, they were too much to be a coincidence. And I do believe it's like radio waves, isn't it? I mean, you think about it. I don't know,
mm.
when was the first radio broadcast by Marconi? It was, I don't know, whatever. But it wasn't that long ago in sort of historical terms. And who would have thought that we could have spoken over the airwaves through using airwaves
Yes.
without any sort of, physical thing? It was literally broadcast and going through the air. And I
Mm,
do, and I
mm.
do believe that what we think does actually permeate out, and I do honestly, I didn't used to believe this at all. I would say,
What made you become a believer in that?
as I said, because of the experience that I had with this person and what
Uh-huh.
happened, these really strange things that I couldn't believe that were happening, and I just thought to myself, there's got to be. This was about 8 or 9 years ago, and I thought to myself, there's got to be more to this than meets the eye as a coincidence. And as I said, and when it's funny when I feel, because we all do, when I feel like not in a particularly great frame of mind, nothing happens. Maybe that's partly because you're not sort of maybe, making phone calls, or you're not, connecting with email, and you're not putting it out there. But I do believe that when you're really in a positive frame of mind, things happen. It's just strange. But as I
Mm.
said, I feel feeling a good frame of mind. I mean, I think I sort of was saying to you, last year was a really difficult time. I was unwell about 13 years ago and spent some time in hospital, and
Yeah.
sort of it took me a long time to get back again. I was unwell literally for about 3 years. It was an awful time. And I eventually got back, and I got some opportunities and got back on my feet again. But it was really protracted and took me a long time. And last year, as I said, I'd been feeling great for about 12, 13 years, and I had some issues going on, sort of personal things going on, and I really let things get to a low ebb, and I ended up back in hospital last year, and it wasn't for long, but it was just a little bit of time, and it was awful. And I don't really, looking back at it now, I don't know why I let things sort of get me
Mm.
down so much, but they did.
Yeah.
But this time I sort of got my act together a lot quicker, and I think that's because of the coping sort of mechanisms that I'd sort of learned from last time. Well, I mean, we all have doubts. We all have doubts in our. Everybody has doubts. I don't care, even if it's the most positive person, but and it's about pushing yourself. For me, it's about. I know Peter's comfort zone is something that people use, but it is about. Sometimes we all doubt ourselves. We all doubt our sort of. I don't care who they are, abilities in certain circumstances to do things,
Mm.
and we've all got this strength in us. It doesn't matter sort of how intelligent we are or not intelligent, or whatever. We're all capable of doing things that we really don't feel that we can do if we push ourselves out of that zone. And as I said, as I said to you last night, doing that charity thing, it's just something very simple, but I'd never done that before, and I felt so, not only because raising some money, but I just felt so good about doing something that I'd not done before.
Yes. Yeah. 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 It's a completely different atmosphere.
Yeah.
And something very interesting that you said, you mentioned that you hadn't been well
Mm,
and that you weren't well
mm,
last year. And there was a very interesting line that you said, and you said, I don't know how I let myself or allowed myself, I'm not
yeah.
sure, um, to get like that. Now, that is a very, very powerful line
Mm,
because if we look at it,
mm.
you allowed it.
I did. Yeah. Absolutely.
So,
Yeah.
how much do we actually have power? We actually have all the power.
Mm,
Either we're
yeah.
going to allow something or we're not going to allow something. Of course, there's things that are beyond our control. But what's important is how are we going to deal with what is presented to us?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, as I said, I've had when I felt low, I've had like even sort of psychiatrists, spoken to psychiatrists and whatever, and different people, but it is literally for me anyway. I mean, obviously these people help because they're specialists, professionals, and when you've got really good friends, but for me, the strength is from within. You have to pick yourself up because somebody can tell you as much as they want. They can say this and that and advise you to do this or to do that or whatever. And some of it, you take on board, but ultimately it's down to us as people to get to push through. I mean, I'm not saying about, oh, well, pull yourself together. I don't mean that because sometimes it's very, very difficult. But ultimately, for me, it's always been I've had to dig very deep and think, Nick, it's not as bad as that, not obvious things. It's not as bad as that, you've done this in the past and you can do it again. And, as I said, it's happened to me a few times in my 2 or 3 times in my life where I've been in a really bad mental state and stuff. As I said, and you've got two ways, haven't you? You either just sit indoors and you just think, well, I don't want to meet people, I don't want to go out and do that, or you just have to force yourself to do stuff, and that's what I've managed to do. I think everyone is capable. Everyone is capable of doing it. Um, as I said, but it all comes from me. It comes from within. That's it. That's it. That's what's happened to me
And
anyway.
what about this strength
Yeah.
that you have within you? How do you reach for that? Because for so many people,
Mm,
um, it's so difficult now to find people that they can talk to. Some people live very lonely lives. In these times of technology, especially, people
yeah.
are so isolated. And I know
Mm,
one of the things that you say is to be amongst people, um, but that's not always possible.
no.
How do you do it then? How can you do it?
Um,
How do you reach down to that reserve and flip it from whatever you're going through in life, from whatever you've been through in life? Because
yeah.
this really, the world is, sometimes it can be a dire place. How do we reach down to that place? How do we find that place within us?
I think, as I said, from I mean, I'm speaking from me, but I think it's sort of generally, it's just a positive mental attitude. You've got to have that positive mental attitude that things are going to get better. And as I said, once again, it's down to us to, to find whatever it is that makes us feel good about ourselves. As I said, for me, I reach. I mean, I personally, I'm very, very lucky. I've got some good friends and family that I'll reach out to, but obviously some people don't have that.
So how
But
do you do it? Do you use special techniques? Or you mentioned that you had certain methods before that made you get over whatever you were going through this time much quicker.
yeah,
How?
well, as I said, I drew on the experience from the last time, and when I was unwell for sort of 3 years, and I didn't want I didn't want it this time to drag on. So I sort of remembered last time, it's about you can. It's about combating for me, combating like the negative beliefs. And what I think a CBT is one of the things that, again, talking
Hmm.
about discussing negative, beliefs, or you counteracting negative beliefs and things. And you can sort of be negative about this, or you can think that a situation's not going to work out well. But when I feel really down now, I think, no, Nick, you've been through this before. You've been through it a few times, and you come out the other side, as I said, and that's just how I look at it. I just draw on my experiences from the past and the times that I've been through really bad times. As I said, maybe it's just me. I've got that sort of ability to do it, but I say that I think most people have got that. I'd say 99% of people have got that ability. I mean, some people sort of like, get prescribed medications and things. And again, I'm not saying medications are not the answer, because obviously certain things, people need certain medications to get through. But
Hmm.
I'm a believer that really it's not, for me personally, it's about doing it, trying to do it. This is me. I mean, I'm not a medical practitioner and I don't want to get in trouble with that side of it, but I'm only talking from myself. I believe that, as I said, me having a positive frame of mind comes from within me, within my soul, sort of thing, really, and it gets me through, as I said. And this time, I was really, last October, September, October, really not in a good a good place at all. Not many people knew about it. It was only my really close people that knew. Um, but ultimately, I sort of had to get through it, and I spent a lot of time here on my own, alone, but I just sort of seemed to work through it in my mind and got myself together and sort of then started to reach out, not necessarily all to talk about what had gone on, but just to reach out to people again and, to sort of seek out new opportunities. And as I said, once I started feeling a bit better, then I started meeting up with people again. Fortunately, sort of business was coming in and I was getting things done. But yeah, as I said, just really, um, yeah, as I say, it just comes from me, from past experiences and how I got through things. Yeah, that's
Do
all.
you feel that because you've been through all of these things,
Yeah.
it puts you in a better position to be a more understanding person?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. I find that I listen a lot more. When COVID was on, or just I did a counselling course, and you know what? I realised
Oh, yes, I remember. Did you do anything with that?
no, I didn't. I just took the sort of basic level. It was something I wanted to do. It was something I wanted to do at the time, and I took the sort of level two, level three, whatever, and passed it. I met some really nice people, but it sort of taught me, and this was only what 5, 6 years. It taught me more how to listen to people, and some of the people that I know, some of my close friends, said. In fact, one said to me the other day, you're so much more. You do listen so much more now. It wasn't that I wasn't interested in people. It's just that I would sort of just, tend to sometimes dominate the conversation, and not through arrogance. It was just the way that it was. But now I
Hmm.
do listen to people a lot more, and it's a lot more fulfilling when you do listen to people,
Yes.
because you can sort of like, obviously, you can, because they've got a story too. Other people have got things.
Mm.
I'm not the
It's
only
an
one that.
art form, isn't it? To be
Yeah.
able to listen, because
Oh,
most people just want to just reply and just want to get their point, but to actually sit and listen
yeah.
is a real art.
It is amazing. Well, that's what counseling's about. It's about
Mm.
listening to people's stories and what they're doing, and advising. Well, no, it's not even necessarily advising. It's literally listening to what, and letting that person pour out all of their emotions and feelings, and
Mm.
sort of exercising that sort of ghost, if you like. But it was a good experience for me, as I said, and I do, and as I said, people have said it to me. I do listen a lot more than I did, and I really like that. I like that change in me, if you like.
Yeah.
It's a
Can
good.
you feel that change?
Yeah, 100%.
Mm.
I'd say I'm a
Mm.
lot. I'd say I'm calmer now than I was. Maybe that's an age thing as well. I don't know, but it comes with age as well. But an experience. But I do feel a lot calmer when I'm in things, and a lot more confident. Sometimes even though I'd done things, I'd met people, I still lacked confidence and stuff. And we all do now, but I'm a lot more sort of together now, a lot more confident, and as I said, a lot more receptive to what people are saying. And I think that's good on a personal, from a personal angle, and also from a business point of view, because people pick up on it, and people want to tell their story. People have got, in the business, have got their brand, and they want to sort of tell you what's going on. And as I said, if you've got that art of listening, and not only listening, but listening
Mm.
and genuinely interested in what they're saying,
Yes. Yeah.
because that's the key.
That's
Because
the huge
because
difference,
because
isn't
people are
it?
not people. Yeah, people are not
Mm.
stupid. They can see through when you're just faking it or whatever.
Mm.
I'm not saying I've ever tried to do that, and because whenever I've sold a product or a service or whatever, I've never, was in selling for many years. I suppose I still am now, but I've never wanted to sell anything. Would never sell anything that I didn't believe in. If I didn't think it was a good product, or it wasn't a good service, I'd never get involved in it.
Mm.
So that's it. But the art of listening, that is such. Yeah, I'm rambling
Isn't
on
it
now, but it's such a good
wonderful?
thing. Yeah, it is. It makes me feel better, and and I think if you can do that, well, not think, but if you can do that,
Mm.
people open up to you more. You get so much more out of life. You get so much more. I'm
You
lucky.
learn so much more. I think you learn so much more about people, you learn so much more about yourself when
Yeah.
you actually listen and you can actually hear what they're saying. Because most people, you know, are talking, they're not really saying anything. They're listening, but they're not really hearing anything.
Mm,
But to be able to actually hear somebody's story is actually a great gift.
mm. Yeah. As I said, I just love it. I love being in a conversation. As I said, funny enough, today I met up with a lady that I was in hospital with 13 years ago. We'd not seen each other.
Ah,
Yeah, we'd not seen each other for a while. It was a couple of years maybe,
mm-hmm.
and it was such a good time. And she's now like an accountant. She took accountancy exams, and she's done really well. And it was just so good to speak to her because we both were at a really, I can't describe how low you feel. Well, I certainly did at the time, and she did too for different reasons. And for us to today to have it was a beautiful day. It was sunny, and we had a lunch together and a great conversation,
How
and
lovely.
and it was just yeah, it was brilliant. I
Mm.
honestly, Gina, her name is, and she's just a nice person, and certain things she said today, and I was even thinking, you're even a nicer person than I thought you were. Do you know what I mean? She was no, but she was coming out with some
Mm.
really, principled stuff, and it was great. I just think, yeah, I really enjoyed that today, and sometimes it's good, to sort of meet up with people from the past, and when you've not seen anybody for a while, it's just great to get together again,
Yeah,
and yeah, because we don't always get the chance, or
true.
the years go by, and before you know it, 10 years has gone.
Yeah, it's true. And life is like the blink of an eye.
Oh God, it is. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, and I feel now that I just want to try and enjoy every day again. As I said, last year was a blip, and now I've got this thing where I'm just, enjoying every day, and
What are your hopes, Nick? What do
my
you hope for your life?
I hope I've got two grandchildren as well now, and well, I've had them for one's 10 and one's 9, Maggie and Archie. They're great kids, and my hope for the future is that they enjoy their lives because when my girls were younger, I was never at home and like didn't manage to spend so much time with them, and but with my grandchildren, I spend more time, and it's like a great relationship, and they know they know I'm a little bit different, I think, even now, well, I think they do, but they sort of love me for the person that I
Yeah, but
am.
that is what the wonderful thing is. That's all about being who you truly are.
Yeah, yeah, and they give you love. And funny enough, I spoke to them today on the phone, and hello, Granddad, how you doing? And I think my hope is for them, because I want them to, because life is so bloody tough now
Mm-hmm.
for younger
Mm.
people. I feel
Yeah.
so sorry. You hear of these graduates, can't get jobs. They've studied for years, they can't get the basic jobs even. And
Mm.
you just
Mm.
think to yourself, and I want to try and help them. So my hope for the future is as much for them. I mean, I'm not saying I've had my life, but I'm sort of like, older now. I've done things, and I'm still ambitious though. I'm still ambitious. I don't think I'll lose that until I die,
You still
Um,
have dreams.
yeah, I do have dreams. I
Mm.
want to travel more this year, and I've got Southend Airport, which is next door almost to where I live, and do a
Mm.
couple of nice long weekends, and because it's not all of years ago for me when I was in the printing industry and I was sales director. I never had anything other than all I thought about was sales and that was it. I didn't have any other interest, but now I do, and my life is so much more fulfilling now. I
Mm.
achieve certainly as much as I did years ago with a lot less effort. I was chasing my tail all the time, and I don't have to do that anymore. And my life is, they say about life balance. My
Mm-hmm.
life balance is so much better now because I've, switched off all that rubbish from not rubbish from the past because it wasn't all rubbish, but you understand what I mean. It was just one dimensional,
But
and
how do you find that balance? How do for people out there, because you
uh,
didn't have a balance and then
no,
you gained a balance. So,
yeah.
how would you say a life of unbalance is? give us an example to a
Mm.
life that is balanced, in your
Well,
opinion?
yeah, well, from my personal opinion, as I said, when I was
Mm,
sales director for two print companies, it was nearly 20 years. I was never at home. I was always chasing this and chasing that and driving here and driving there. And I never used to think of anything else other than work. I never had any, but we did some nice things. I was with married Linda, my wife and stuff. And we did some not lovely holidays. We went to Arizona, we went on a dude ranch and all these things. But I never used to cut off from, from work. And it
mm,
was sad really, because as I said, and also the girls, I didn't really, I do regret it. You know, you shouldn't have regrets, but I feel I didn't really give my two girls the time that I should have done. I was lucky because Linda was a really good mum and stuff, and she looked after them and things. But with my grandchildren now, as an example, I give them time, and I know there's nothing special in that, but for me, it's great that they can come to me and they feel safe with me, and we do great things together. And then I'll meet up with somebody and discuss. Like today, I was in a hair salon, and we're looking at doing some interior photography for that. And so it's all these different things going on all the time. It's not just this one thing that's dominating. And
mm.
today, as I said, going in, walking into Leon C, Old Lee, and there's these really steep steps. Walked up these steep steps today, and I sat at the top of the hill, and the sun was beating down, and I was thinking, how lucky am I to be, as I said, and giving myself time to to enjoy it, to take it in, to look at the sea, because it's the Thames, which is about 4 miles wide where we are, but it's like having a sea here. Um,
Hmm.
so lucky, got London 30 miles away. I'm going out to an event in London on Saturday, and I just love it all. There's so many different things going on. That's what life balance is. It's not just chasing the dollar all the time. And I mean, in those days, as I said, I had a family, and I had the family to keep and stuff. So I did earn really good money. But as I said, I just enjoy the life I have. I go and see my grandson play football on a Saturday morning now, and that's great. And he's doing really well. And my granddaughter does dancing. She goes to diversity studios in Lee, and it's just life is so much better, as I said. And that's why I don't understand why I let myself get to that stage last year. It was only a short period of time, but you know I just count my blessings, that's all. And
In
I
a
feel
funny
good.
way, sometimes we allow things to happen in order, it's our higher self, if
Yeah,
you would like to call it like that. There's something that we have to learn.
yeah,
And
absolutely.
maybe that by you going through that, by all of us allowing ourselves to do the things that maybe looking back with hindsight, which is a wonderful thing,
Mm,
we shouldn't have done. But maybe we need to do it in order to become, in a way, more enlightened to actually our life and
mm.
to become better people.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's just a journey, isn't it? As people say that, but it is a journey. But I'm very, very lucky. As I said, I've got great family. I've still got my mum. My mum's 90 this year,
Mm.
and still got my mum around, and that's great. And my
So we
sisters.
should count our blessings
Yeah, we should count our blessings. We should
and
definitely
be
count.
grateful, because I
Yeah,
think we are really not so grateful as human beings. And I think gratitude is something that we should practice more.
yeah,
Me for
yeah.
sure, I
Yeah,
can
and
say.
yeah, absolutely. And like, when somebody does something nice to you, send them a nice message, or even give them a call and say you really
Yeah.
appreciate what you've done for me. And as I said, I have some lovely things. People
Mm.
people are so giving to me, and I'd like to think I'm the same, but people are really giving to me, and people are really generous. Not just saying financially. I mean, just generous in spirit, and to give their time to me. And I feel really, really lucky. I've got some great people in my life. I know not everybody has, and I really
Yeah,
feel.
but some people don't have great people.
No, that's what I'm saying. And
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 then what happens?
well, I think
What
that
is your advice for people who
Well,
sadly don't have anybody.
I would say, as I said, I would say to people that if they know of somebody that lives alone, and you can sort of then reach out to people. It might be a neighbour or whatever,
Mm.
but to reach out to those people, because not everybody has got the ability to get out there and and have conversations even with people. So it's important,
Yeah,
if you think somebody's isolated, somehow talk to them, somehow chat to them, and engage with them. I mean, there's these things, isn't there, where you people like Grey Line or whatever. I think Esther Ransom did it, where people you can like adopt a person, like an older person or something, and even making that phone call, because a lot of older people don't see anybody. They don't see anybody for months. You know?
but it's not just older people, Nick.
No,
It's
no, no,
it's it's
it's
it's
not.
everybody
Yeah, that's
of
right.
all
And
ages that,
yeah,
especially if they're suffering from mental health issues
yeah,
that are not so obvious actually to everybody out there.
no.
It's everybody. I think it's important to not say to ourselves, well, you know what, it's an older person. We shouldn't look at age. We should look at who the person is and what their need is. And can we actually do something for them?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I cite older people, I mean, I
Mm,
think a lot of like very elderly people, their mobility is not good, so they can't get
mm,
out. But I'm just
mm.
saying, yeah, you're quite right. Anybody, any age, you can feel like it, and you can shut
It's
yourself
true.
away. But it is
True.
important. It is important to, for that. For if you, as I said, if you do know of anybody that's like that, somehow try to engage with them, try to bring them out and make them
Good
feel good.
advice.
Give your
Mm.
to give your time to somebody, because it's
I,
just
I thoroughly agree with you on that, and it should be done more. And I think in the Western society, it's not done as much as it is sort of maybe in the East or the Far
mm,
East,
I agree.
because everyone's so busy, 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 being busy. And I had an incident, a very lovely incident the other day with a
Mm,
lady who was walking her dog in the woods. And I opened the window, and it's such a
mm,
beautiful atmosphere with the birds singing, and
lovely.
there's horses and all sorts of loveliness. And it's just a time to be on your own and to think. And the lady came with her dog, and it was a very funny looking dog. And I'd never seen it in my life. I don't know if you've heard. It was called a Welsh corgi,
No, never heard. No.
and it's like a corgi, but a fluffy version of a corgi.
Oh, really?
Oh no, not a Welsh corgi. Oh, it is, but a cardigan. Sorry, a cardigan corgi.
No, never
A-
heard of
And it
that.
looks like it has a cardigan. It's got these little legs. And the lady was telling me her story.
Mm,
As you do, you talk to people. And she'd had such a terrible life. And oh my goodness, escaped a very difficult relationship. And she'd found now the love of her life.
mm.
And but she was not well, and she hadn't been well since she was a child. But the way that she was talking, and she said to me, "Thank you so much for taking the time." We were talking for about an hour.
Oh, really?
And yeah, and I just thought, my goodness, look, she's going through so many things, and we're all going through something in our lives.
Mm,
But that moment brought joy to her and joy to me.
that's
And
brilliant.
we left, I think, more refreshed, more revived. And she said, "Look at this." She said, "We're talking, we've never met. Maybe we'll never meet again," she said. But
Mm.
it's just that moment that can really give you hope again in life.
Mm. Yeah, no, I agree with you, as I said, and it is great to meet new people, because, as I said, and we never know what we never
You
know. We
never
said it,
know.
we never know what people are going through. You
Yeah,
don't know what
it's
people are
true.
going through,
It's
and
true.
as you said, just to give your time
Mm,
and to listen to what these people are saying. As I said, it just you know, as I said, my life is so much better, and as I said, because I was guilty of not listening so much for many years. I just used to
mm,
ramble
mm,
on and do this, and people. I mean, I was lucky because those people loved working with me, and I was very successful in print sales. Over a number of years,
mm.
but I didn't. I was, as I said, guilty of not listening to much, and now I just enjoy listening to what people are saying to me much more. I know we've
So
said
you're
this.
really an unofficial counsellor.
Well, I don't know, but I wouldn't go that far. But
The unofficial
the
counsellor.
unofficial council, I like that one. Yeah, but yeah. But as I said
Nick,
to you,
Nick, I mean, I could talk to you as always for hours.
yeah,
And but I want to hear, as we sort of draw to a close,
yeah.
what is it? What's your message for tonight
My
for
message
people
is,
out there?
yeah, my message is out there. If you're feeling low and you can reach out. And if somebody, as I said, if somebody, of somebody that maybe you've not seen for a few days, or reach out to those people, and to, as we said, to listen to people, listen to what people have got to say in their lives, because it's important to listen to other people. Everybody's got a story, and as I said,
Yes.
and to never give in, never give up. And also, I'd say, if you're, we all sort of fear failure sometimes, but to push that barrier and push yourself out of your comfort zone, because when you do, it's like such a great thing when you, like last night, when you do something you've never done before,
Mm.
you just feel so good. So push yourself out of that comfort zone and get out there and achieve it, and you'll feel enlightened, and you'll feel great about yourself. And that's what it's about. It's about feeling good about ourselves, and that's the way forward.
I
That's it.
love it. Absolutely fabulous. As
Mm,
always, as always. And for people out there, Nick, that want to
mm,
know more about your company, more
yeah.
about you, who want to get in touch with you, where can they find all this information?
So they can contact me via email. So it's Nick at beaubrummellproductions.co.uk, Nick at beaubrummellproductions.co.uk. My website is Beau Brummell Productions, so go on to that. There's my telephone number on there. There's the company details on the site. You can find out more about what I do. Yeah, you can email me, you can call me, whatever you want to do, and I'd be delighted to hear from anybody that needs videography, really classy videography, good interior photography, food photography, that type of thing. As we've discussed, anybody needs that type of material, I'd be delighted to speak to them.
Or even just a moment in time to do something lovely.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Brilliant.
It's
Thank
been
you as ever.
it's been so lovely to talk to you.
And
As I
to you
said,
too.
oh, thanks, Mimi. Thank you very much.
And you look after yourself.
Yeah, and I will do. You too, and thank you for inviting me on the show again. I've really enjoyed
Always a
it.
pleasure. All
Thank
right
you.
then. Take care, Nick.
Thank you, Mimi. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Lord Chalkwell, also known as Nick Payne. Thank you so much for joining me today, and of course for sharing these beautiful moments with my guests and hearing such inspiring stories. Thank you again. It's so appreciated. Until next time, do something beautiful for yourselves, for your heart and for your soul. And remember, never ever give up. Take care and lots of love.
Thank you for listening to Secrets for an Inspirational Life, brought to you by your host, Mimi Novic. Please remember to subscribe to the podcast, and see you in the next episode. For more information about Mimi Novic and her books, music, and inspirational work, take a look at her website, www.miminovic.co.uk.